was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Leslie, and today's video is going to be a sort of sew along. It's kind of like a vlog type of video documenting my process in making this heart ruffle pillow. I will say this is not a tutorial, and if you're brave enough to make it a tutorial, make sure you watch it all the way through to see all the mistakes I made, because this pillow definitely tested my patience, but I think the end result is super cute. So if you want to see kind of what I went through to make this pillow, keep watching. Thank you. So I decided to use this red gingham fabric that I got from Hobby Lobby. And let's see what we can do with this. So here I am just folding the fabric in half twice. So I have 4 layers like stacked on each other, so that when I like cut out the heart, I have 2 even pieces. So I decided to take a marker and try and trace out a heart shape because I was a little scared to just like freehand it. So a lot of these clips are going to be sped up of me like doing just mundane things. Here I am cutting out the shape of the heart. So the first cutout I made was a little bit too big, so I'm going to go ahead and try to trim parts of the heart so that it's like not as large on the curved part. So I wanted to practice making the ruffles on a scrap piece of fabric before I actually went and did it. So there were 2 different methods that I tried. For this first one here, I have my tension set to 9, which is the highest tension my machine can go. And I have my length set to 4, and I'm holding the top of the thread so that it creates like more tension, and it made like a ruffle shape that I'm showing right there. And then I ended up pulling it apart on accident, so there's that. And for the second ruffle making method, I set my tension back to 4, which is what I normally keep it at. And then I'm going to do 2 rows of stitches, like just straight stitches next to each other. And then to make the ruffle, you pull those ends and it makes that shape. So here I am just practicing how to do that. You also want to make sure that when you're trying this method, you leave long tails when you start and when you end. So here I am having a little bit of a hard time making those actual like ruffle shapes. And I believe I was having a hard time because I backstitched at both the beginning and the end. So when I pulled, there was really no give. So here I am just trying out that method one more time. And I forgot to keep filming for this part, but I did practice pulling those threads, and it actually did work to make a ruffle shape when I didn't do the back stitch. So I think that's what I did wrong the first time. Here I'm just using a measuring tape to measure half the heart, then I'll multiply that measurement times 2, because I'm just trying to figure out how long I need to make this strip that I'm going to turn into actual ruffles. So I cut my strips to be 5 inches wide, and I cut along the length of my fabric, and it ended up being too short when I laid it out, so I needed to cut some more. So here is me doing that. Oh my lord, that noise. I was getting a little frustrated at this point, so there's that. So I ended up with 2 long strips. I don't know the exact measurement they were, I think around 30 inches each, but here I am sewing them together so I can just make 1 long strip. So once those were sewn together in 1 long strip, I took the end pieces and sewed those together so that I had 1 long ring for my ruffle fabric. So once I had my tube completely done, I got a little excited and went on to make gathering stitches right away, and I missed a very important step, and I don't realize it till later on. So here is me making a mistake. So I sewed one of the gathering stitches the entire length of my ruffle. Again, not realizing my mistake, so here I am about to start the second one.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Oh my god. Ugh. I forgot to fold it in half before I started making the stitches for the ruffle. So now I just have raw edges. So now I need to undo the gathering stitch that I did, fold over, and do it again. So I went and did just that. I removed all my stitches with a seam ripper. Then I folded and pressed the ruffle in half so that it had like a nice, clean, crisp line at the fold, so I don't have like my edges exposed. And then I went and made another 2 rows of gathering stitches across the entire length of my ruffle. So with the finished gathering stitches, I brought it back to my table and I couldn't get it to ruffle. I don't know what I did, but the stitches were not moving. So here I am trying to get like that ruffle shape and I could not do it. Why is it not making a ruffle? And I'm not undoing this. So I was getting a little bit frustrated at this point, so I decided to make ruffles the other way. So here I am holding the thread tight on top. I guess I was holding it too tight and the thread was breaking and unthreading, so I was getting even more mad.
One eternity later.
So I took a break from sewing for that day. I came back the next day and I practiced making ruffles using the holding on top method, and it seemed to work pretty good when I tried it again. So I removed all the stitches I had made the day before, and then I tried again making a ruffle with the holding on top method. This time I did it slower at an even pace, and I wasn't holding it super tight, and I didn't have the thread break at all, and I ended up with a perfect ruffle at the end. So I took my ruffle piece and I pinned it to one of my heart pieces all the way around, and because I wasn't able to gather it and precisely make my ruffle length, I did have to end up trimming a little bit of my heart, so that's what you saw on the side there, some trimmings. But I did cut it down to a size where the ruffle would fit over it completely. And here I am sewing the ruffle to the heart. And then here I'm frustrated because my bobbin ran out of thread. So I just replaced that and then continued sewing the ruffle to the heart. So before throwing my fabric back on, I decided to use a scrap piece because I could tell when I was turning my knob that it wasn't threading correctly for some reason. Here's a close-up of a mistake I made. So I accidentally folded the fabric over and it wasn't laying completely straight. So I had to remove those stitches and redo it. There's a pin inside of my fucking machine. That's why this shit doesn't fucking work. Oh. Oh. Okay, let me try and take this out. I don't even know how they got it in.
Is the rope supposed to be cold or does it want to be warm?
I think warm. They keep it in like hot water.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Oh my god. Okay, I have this like actually terrifying screwdriver. I don't even know if this is gonna work. I'm gonna like take this. This is so big. How the fuck? Yeah, no, this is not gonna work.
So I tried taking out the stuck pin with tweezers. It didn't work. I tried removing the metal plate with a screwdriver. It was too long, so it didn't work. And I ended up using a butter knife. That did work. This is what I was talking about. This was inside of here. So let me take that out. Brush. So let me clean this. Oh, it's open. So once I took that needle out of my machine, it started working just fine. So I went and fixed the mistakes I had made with the folded over fabric, just redoing those stitches. So once I finished attaching my ruffle to one of my heart pieces, I'm gonna layer my second heart piece on top, pin it, and sew all the way around, making sure I leave a gap large enough to turn my pillow inside out and stuff it later. For a few times my machine would stop and I would have to hand crank it. And I'm assuming it's just because the ruffles were too thick. It's kind of annoying because this is supposed to be a heavy duty machine, but it's okay. So I have my pieces sewn together and I'm just going to turn my pillow inside out to kind of see what it looks like. So now it is ready to be stuffed. I am using polyfill and some leftover batting, and what I'm doing is I'm just fluffing it out and then I'm putting it inside of the heart through the gap that we left earlier. So once my pillow was fully stuffed, I went ahead and hand stitched the gap closed. If I was doing this again, I would make the gap smaller and I would practice hand stitching beforehand. It was my first time I've done it in a while and they end up looking a little bit wonky on my pillow, but that's okay. There's plenty of imperfections, but the final product is still super cute. So here I am just clipping any threads I have left over. So here we have the finished product. I think it's super cute. It definitely put me through some hard times, but it was worth it. All right, thank you for watching the video. I didn't lie when I said this was super complicated, but I think the end result is just so worth it, and I love this. I think it's so cute, and it's very good for decor, so I'm gonna leave her back there. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, whatever, be sure to leave them down below. I hope this video showed kind of the reality of going into things as a beginner sewer with not a lot of experience. But I think one of the better ways to learn is by messing up and making mistakes that you don't want to make again. With this pillow, I definitely did that. I'll leave my socials down below, so if you make one of your own, send me a DM. I want to see it. But yeah, thank you for watching. Bye.